happened. We'll
You
find
went
out.
live.
I am live now. All right. I'm learning this.
Yep.
All right, cool beans. All right, day 5. Day 5. I have no idea how long I'm going to last. I've been trudging in this desert for days. All I have left is this little pencil and this journal and this webcam.
Then you also
So-
have sand if you're in a desert.
Why are you ruining my fantasy?
Because,
Don't perspective abuse.
Because that's what I like
Perspective abuse, man.
what I
My
like doing.
perspective, I see sand. And if I see sand, there be there sand. Don't come into my perspective. You just ruined my 4th wall. You broke the 4th fucking wall.
doing. Yay.
Go to your room.
No.
Or now, where was I? Right, day 4, day 5. We're on day 5. Day 5. I've been trudging in this. This is on imagination with shifting perspectives from the Healing Garden and Authenticity City. So this is my journal. I am on day 5 of creating Authenticity City, and this is me trying to get out of my little comfort zone over there called my Cubby. And now I am over here in OBS on my desktop, overcoming obstacles left and right, called Sign in with your password. You have not signed on to this computer yet before. Make sure you go to this email account and get your login. Fail. Wrong account. Try again. And I only have like 12 programs, so I have to do this like 48 times. And I have a D&D game tonight, and I have to finish up the script. But yeah, every time I do one of these, I feel like it's Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. We should sing! Okay, I'll calm down. But Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, and that's where I'm at. So I came on here to reflect. I just got done with my news broadcast. I do news broadcasts now. I had papers and everything. It's on my Twitch. And I'm going to leave my Authenticity City broadcasts over on Twitch. I love that so much. Oh my God. I don't know why. I do know why. It's because I know the audience on Twitch. That's why. Because I know that the audience on Twitch are nerds like me, which is why they're there, because they're gamers. So I get it. They're my people. They are my people. But here on YouTube, I'm going, there's conformists out there. And I don't wear masks. And I know I'm offending people left and right. And that's my problem. I'm still consciously like, if I'm my authentic self and they have mental issues and they internalize my authenticity and then they project their insecurities onto me because they've internalized my authenticity, does that mean I'm being inconsiderate? So I have the shit that's in my head. And so I censor myself. I don't censor myself on YouTube, but I can feel it. Every time I get on YouTube, I'm going, am I offending someone? Of course I'm offending someone. But over on Twitch, I feel like I'm offending no one. And that's just it. I'm just like, I feel love over there. And I get here on Facebook. Oh, well, not here, but no, when I go over to Facebook, I feel like I'm back in the system. And I think that's why I was so angry about Facebook, is because I was back in the system and I could feel the system. And it was just like the system closing in on me. And I was like, no, get out of me. Oh my God, it was terrifying. And I used a whole lot of boundaries on Facebook. And that gave me a lot of space. And now I'm like, all right, I'm good with Facebook now, but I can still feel like I put myself out there and I'm like, okay, here's my vulnerable maskless side. And I know I'm talking to a bunch of conformists. Why am I on Facebook? And then I get into YouTube and I definitely feel it's a lot more chill. Definitely a lot more chill. And I'm like, all right, I'm good with Facebook. I need to get on TikTok, but the whole, you have 30 seconds to talk. What the fuck is that shit? I'm not going to do 30 seconds of talking. There's no fucking way I can cram shit into 30 seconds. I mean, I do it on my reels, but I'm like, no, I need a stage. And then I get over to Twitch and I can feel, and it's all mindset, by the way. It's all mindset. It's all in my head. I know this. So I get over to Twitch and I can feel it. The more I'm over on Twitch, the more I'm like, I can just be myself and fall apart and be weird because I know they'll love it. But on YouTube, it's like that. Yeah. Okay, so here's my problem. This is it. Boom. Topic for discussion. I was actually, in one of my previous videos today, I was talking about this. And then I kind of jumped off topic because I was like, no. I wanted to take it into a different direction. So this is it. When you say I'm in mental health, there is an expectation. Oh, that dirty word. Dirty word. There is an expectation that you're going to present professionally. Like, no, not gonna happen. Not fucking gonna happen. Because the minute I start presenting professionally, I stop presenting authentically. Write that down. That's really fucking awesome. Like, that's it right there. The moment I start presenting professionally, I start presenting inauthentically. And that does not jive with my frequency. I'm going to get used to saying that because this is the new me. It's not the new me. This is not the new me. This is the always been me. Take my words. Use them. We do not become someone new. We're always who we are. When we become someone that, I don't know who you are anymore, you've changed so much. No, I didn't change. I just stopped wearing the fucking mask. And that's the difference. That is the difference right there. So I've always been this way. This is just how much I was suppressed. This is how much you were suppressed. When you start taking off the mask and you start showing people, you know what I feel like? I feel like we are all Marvel superheroes. No, X-Men. We are all X-Men hiding. All of us looking like we're businessmen wearing conformed masks in this beautiful Leave It to Beaver. And we all are walking lives through Pleasantville and Leave It to Beaver. And then someone, probably me, steps out and says, I can't take it anymore. And I rip off my Leave It to Beaver outfit and poof, I'm Rogue. Yeah, that's what I feel like. That's it. That's what I feel like. And then somebody else goes, you're Rogue? Well, I'm Wolverine. And suddenly it all comes out. And we're all not going to hide anymore. And suddenly we realize that we're all superheroes and no one is normal. And some superheroes are so terrified of their superpowers. I really love this analogy, by the way, that they just can't live with their true selves because they were taught to be afraid of their superhero skills that much. I really feel bad for those people. So, yeah. Like that's it right there. You have this magnificent super person inside of you. We all do. And we're not supposed to show that side of us because it's not, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why. I do know why, but I'm not opening that door because I have closed the door to Wonderland. I refuse to look at Wonderland anymore. So, I have a game tonight. I'm doing my first Dungeons & Dragons game. I've written out the script. My son says to me, Mom, you do improv all the time. Why are you preparing a script? Because I don't know how to improv in front of people yet. And I know why. I know exactly why. And that is part of my healing. That will be definitely part of my healing. The Queen's Journals, October 5th, 2023. I've been at Authenticity City now for 5 days. What, dude? Why are you breaking the fourth wall again? Stop breaking the fourth wall! I forget you're here, and then I hear, excuse me, and I'm like, what? What? The fourth wall. Ah! Okay, there's 2 rules of theater. 1, the actor must never speak to the audience. Rule number 2, the audience must never speak to the actors.
You talk about theater all the time, but you know, when someone forgets their lines in theater, they have to improv in front of a bunch of people.
You know, that used to be illegal.
What? Improving?
No. Actually, yes. Improving used to be illegal. This is a really funny story of the 19th century. Whenever they did theater, they actually had somebody sitting at the base of the stage reading the script along. So if you forgot your lines, they would remind you of your lines and whisper it to you from the box between the orchestra and the stage. Because under no circumstance could you stray from the script. So improv was not an option. You always had somebody right there to read off script to you in case that did happen. And then there's Nathan Lane.
But then there was like more modern theater.
No, there is no, you do not break the fourth wall. It's a cardinal rule of stage is you do not break the fourth wall. And you keep breaking it. So I'm sitting here off doing my thing. And then I'm like, the audience, it speaks.
Yeah, well, I'm not like the audience. I'm kind of on the stage next to
No,
you.
you're not. Yeah, you're in the side wings. The side wings don't speak. You don't sit there, psst, psst, hey, I know you're in the middle of a performance. I got you Cheetos. You don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, you kids do it all the time. I'm in the middle of my performance, and then I'll get, Mom, I got Cheetos.
That would be Liz. But no,
I know it's Liz.
I would just like belly flop on the stage, just your performance in the background.
Like if you want to embrace your theater side, we can turn the whole living room into a stage. Oh, the world is a stage. Every time I wear my crown, I am reminded of King Henry VIII, or Richard, or King John. And I don't know any lines. Oh yes, a horse, my kingdom for a horse. That's one, but he wasn't wearing his crown in that scene. Shakespeare, his histories.
Yeah.
Et tu, Brute? All right. I was talking about something before someone broke the fourth wall. I got to think about this. What was I saying? Yes, I'm on day 5. Right, I was talking about improv. How I cannot improv with people yet. It's a skill. And I'm going, I have mastered the art of improving on my own. I've got this down. Now I have the wonderful art. And there's 2 things. Oh my God, I can talk to you about it. I can let it out of my brain. I love letting shit out of my brain. Oh, this makes me so happy. Okay. I want to be where the people are. Okay, focus. I want to be that person who literally plays with the audience. Like, I want to break the fourth wall and bring you into the show.
So I can talk?
Yes, you can talk.
Why were you complaining about the fourth wall?
I remember I was in this play. I was not in the play. I was in the audience. But in this world, it did not matter. There were actually 3 theatrical places where they broke the fourth wall. Oh, Cats broke the fourth wall all the time. Cats breaks the fourth wall. You cannot see a show of Cats and expect to stay in the fourth wall. They are going to pull you into the show, which is why Cats was so popular, is because it broke the fourth wall. That's why Cats was so popular. It wasn't for any other reason other than it was the only fucking play on Broadway that broke the fourth wall. So these cats are doing their thing, and suddenly you're in their show. People love that. People love that so fucking much. So Forbidden Broadway. Forbidden Broadway. Forbidden Broadway, ironically, is off-Broadway. Off-Broadway means it's a play in New York City. It's not as expensive because it is not on actual Broadway. Broadway is a really big street. It goes all the way from Battery Park, all the way up the 17 miles of Island, all the way into the Bronx. Like, it is a long fucking road. And to confuse matters more, we have our own Broadway here in Brooklyn. What the fuck is that? It's so confusing. You're sitting here driving along in Brooklyn. Why is Broadway here? Like, what the fuck? Why is there a Broadway in the middle of Brooklyn? Like, and it's not the Broadway. It has nothing to do with Broadway. It's just Brooklyn wanted to be like Manhattan. So, boom, there's another Broadway. And it's the most illogical. So Broadway is like one of the oldest streets in Manhattan. Old. So old that when they build the grid, Manhattan's a grid, a beautiful geometrical grid, except for Broadway. Broadway goes right down through the grid like it's nothing because the entire grid was built around Broadway. Like, Well, there's Broadway. What do we do about Broadway? Well, it's been here since the beginning of time. Let's leave it. And then they built Manhattan. So they came up with these geometrical shapes called blocks. And they put them all together in rows and columns and lines. And that is Manhattan. The whole goddamn thing, except Broadway, which is just this, it looks like a kid took a crayon and just scribbled all the way down Manhattan with it. So that's Broadway. And it's because it is like the oldest road that went all the way up through Manhattan. It's like the first road. So I don't know why, but they left it. They decided to preserve it. Probably for historical purposes. So an off-Broadway just means you're not on the main Broadway strip. And as a result, because you're not on the main Broadway strip, you are not going to be picked up by tourists. So the prices are significantly cheaper if you go with an off-Broadway production. But as a result, the majority of off-Broadway shows are higher in quality and entertainment than actual Broadway. Broadway is more like, it's a tourist trap. It's not like, it is. Broadway's a tourist trap. You get off of Broadway, though, and that's where the real gold is on theater. Oh, my God. The best fucking shit is off Broadway. So there's a show called Forbidden Broadway. If you live in New York and if you are a theater goer, you know about Forbidden Broadway. Forbidden Broadway is a parody on all the current Broadway shows. It has been running, I think, for like 30 seasons now. And every Broadway season, they take all the shows that are playing on Broadway and they mock all of them in a 2-hour to 3-hour show. And one of my favorites is Sound of Music when that was on that was on Broadway. Now, I got to see Sound of Music on Broadway and Forbidden Broadway off Broadway when Sound of Music was on Broadway. And so I watched Sound of Music, and then I went to see Forbidden Broadway, and the heels are alive again. Like shit like that. It's wonderful. So Forbidden Broadway is like a whole nother creature. And why am I telling you this? Because when you go to a show on Forbidden Broadway, it is a dinner and a show. It's a dinner and a show. It's phenomenal. So you're sitting there with like this gorgeous little table. It's not gorgeous. It's really raunchy and it's beautiful and it's usually a dirty little pub and it's fantastic. But like I said, the quality is amazing. So you're sitting there at this table, you get dinner, you get some alcohol, you get wine, you get some beer, and you're watching this hilarious show as it all mocks and makes fun of Forbidden Broadway, or of the Broadway shows that are on at the moment. So it's absolutely, and the talent is extraordinary. I love Forbidden Broadway. And they pull you almost always into the show. And Forbidden Broadway is usually only done with 4 people in the cast. It's amazing to watch them pull this shit off. So it's the same 4 people, and they have to do each Broadway show. So you see them doing like character costumes, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is one person wearing, well, 2 costumes to cover Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So while he's up there, then you have the other 3 in the back. One guy's getting dressed as Jean Valjean to do Les Miserables. He comes out, and they got the turntable going. Oh, that was so fucking funny. And then all 4 of them came out, and they're all 4 dressed as cats. God, I hope I get it. I hope I get it. Yeah, how many pussies does he? Can I say that? Can I say that on YouTube? It's in the lyrics. So yeah, and referring to Pussycats, it's hilarious. And oh my God, Forbidden Broadway is fucking hilarious. So being there is absolutely one of the most beautiful experiences in Broadway. And again, they break the 4th wall and they pull you into the show almost every time. So it's like the cardinal rule is you do not break the 4th wall. You are supposed to pretend, well, you're voyeurs. You are a voyeur. You are a voyeur. Every time you are part of an audience member, you're a voyeur. So, and it's like the unspoken rule of theater is you are not allowed to acknowledge the audience. And the audience is not allowed to acknowledge you. You are both supposed to pretend that neither one of you exists. And it's like, I could do a whole thing on this. I could do a whole thing. This is screaming at me. Like really? And Into the Woods kind of cut, Into the Woods. Into the Woods does something else. The real Into the Woods, not that garbage that Disney released. The real Into the Woods. I have seen Into the Woods live on stage 5 times. Oh my God. Oh my God. So Into the Woods, you have the audience, who we do not speak of. You have the players, and they never acknowledge the audience. And then you have a narrator. Now the narrator is amazing. The whole thing, the very first words in the musical, once upon a time, and he comes on stage. And as he narrates, the players perform. And as he delivers, the players respond. He sets the scene, and the players respond. And then you get to the second act. Rinse and repeat. The narrator delivers, and the players respond. Now, these are not people who are used to making their own decisions. You know, one must, and he stops and he looks, and all the players are watching him. Oh no, he says. I am telling this story. I am not part of it. Well, maybe some of us don't like the way you've been telling it, says the witch. And they hijack the narrator and they pull him into the play and then they kill him. Like, extraordinary. Like I said, Disney's version is shit. And the narrator dies. And they're all sitting here like, well, now what do we do? And now you've got all of these players. Why did you have to kill him? None of us know the story. You wanted him dead too. So for the rest of the play, they're halfway through the second act and the narrator is dead. There is a play that used to be called, it's still out there, but it's almost not heard of, called Six Players Without a Script. That is the play. An author, a playwright, had written out the stage and he abandoned the script after the players were created. And so it's these 6 characters, maybe it's 5 characters without a play, and these 5 characters are wandering around looking for their story. Oh my God, it's extraordinary writing. And it's these 5 players trying to figure out what their story is. But their playwright abandoned them. The play, I don't know what happened to this play. It was extraordinary. So I have no idea what happened to this play. 5 players without a script. I have no idea what happened. Yeah, I'd have to Google it. I'm not finding it right off the bat. I have no idea what happened to this play. It was on an off-Broadway show for a very short time and then it just went away. But the abstract concept is mind-blowing. And Into the Woods does this. Into the Woods absolutely elaborates on this whole concept and just flies with it. The live stage version, not the garbage that Disney did. Like, I have never been so angry. I'm like, you took out the narrator. The whole point was the narrator. The whole point of Into the Woods was that, are you being instructed and told by a writer, by a god, by an omniscient, or do you have free will? Make up your own story. Don't let someone else tell you what your story is. That is like the whole fucking point of Into the Woods, is you make up your story. But if you don't have the narrator, you can't make that point. So by taking out the narrator in the movie, which they did, like I wrote an article. I have a whole review that I wrote on Into the Woods that completely rips it apart. I'm just like, what are you doing? So yeah, and it just nonsense, just more nonsense. So the concept of the fourth wall, the taboo of you have to pretend that you can't see me and I have to pretend that I can't see you. You are hiding in the bushes over there, out of sight, out of mind. And I have to pretend that I can't see you when in fact you are all I'm thinking about. And I have to work like 24/7 to make sure I'm not thinking about the fact that I'm being watched by X amount of thousands of people. Don't look at them. Pretend they're not there. Why? Why? Why can't I look at you? So that's it. That's it right there. That's it. I was talking to one of my players, and he had the wonderful privilege of seeing Nathan Lane live on stage. And I can't remember what musical he was seeing, but in the middle of it, in the middle of the fucking play, Nathan Lane stops acting, looks at the audience and says, "Why aren't you laughing? I'm funny. I promise you I'm funny. These are the jokes." And then he goes right back into acting and continues. No, wait. He said Matthew, it was the producers. That's what it was. Matthew Broderick stops him and says, can we get on with it, please? And then they resume script and they just keep going. Like it never broke. Only Nathan Lane. Only fucking Nathan Lane could pull that off. Breaking the fourth wall. I live for breaking the fourth wall. Freddie Mercury did it. Freddie Mercury, oh my God, that man. Oh, I can't see him as well over here. All I can see of his profile face. I have my canvases. I have like a whole shrine to Freddie Mercury over there. So every time I look over there, I'm like, oh, Freddie. Well, we all know this. He played with the audience. Ew, 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 ew. All right. Oh my God, I love Freddie. And I just, that, and that's it really. I think that's why when it comes down to acting, I would just not, it wouldn't work for me because I would want to break the fourth wall. It's like, there's people there. Why wouldn't I want to play with them? But there's people. But there's people. You cannot break the fourth wall. That's rule number one of theater. I know, but they're right there. They are right there. They're right there. Stand-up comedians, they can break the fourth wall. In fact, they're like throwing themselves out there. You know I'm here. I'm not going to pretend I'm not. You see me, I see you. Let's get this done. You are voyeurs. That's why you're here. You are embracing your voyeur side. And I happen to be an exhibitionist. This is phenomenal. What a fantastic marriage. We both know exactly where we both stand. Let's do this. Like, I could do this. I could totally, like, this would be my thing. Yeah. So that's the second thing. So there's acting. And then there's playing with the fourth wall. Throwing it out completely and obliterating it. And then the third. It's the writing. Oh my God, it's the writing. It's the standing out before you and laying out the saying precisely as you want to see it and just letting whatever it is unfold. And that came to me from Men of La Mancha. So Men of La Mancha, oh my fucking God, Don Quixote. When you see the musical on stage, it is just the actors in their day clothes, in their street clothes. And they come in and there's a chest. Don Quixote, Miguel de Cervantes, is thrown onto the stage with his friend and a chest. And he's in prison. Now, Miguel de Cervantes wrote Don Quixote in prison because his father didn't pay his taxes. Gotta love the 16th century. So he spent 20 years in prison, paying dues for his father's inability to pay taxes. And Miguel wrote Don Quixote in prison. Now that is a man who tapped into the imagination to escape his horror. In psychology, we call it dissociation. I call it freedom. And he rolled out Don Quixote in such elaborate beauty. It was breathtaking. So in Men of La Mancha, you have two men, the prisoners, and a box. And the prisoner opens the chest. They said, oh, we're going to be your judge, trial, and jury right here. They rip it up and open the box, and they pull out all the costumes. They pull out all the props. He's like, take whatever you want. And one man pulls out the script. He says, not that. That's mine. Oh, we have something of value, do we? So he goes to burn it. It's the entire script of Don Quixote. And Miguel says, allow me to show you what that is. They said, okay, we'll hear your case. So he grabs everything out of the chest. He starts assigning people people and roles. He says, you are going to be this, you are going to be... He's assigning NPCs. And he hands it all out. And he turns his back to the camera and he's putting on makeup and he's putting on costume. And he's talking about how this lonely man, I can't remember his real name, how he was old and broken and sick and dying. And he lived his whole life depressed and miserable and hating everything in his life that he was told he had to be. Not anymore. As he neared his deathbed, he said, not anymore. For this day he was reborn. He escaped so often in books. He escaped so often in books, and he found something to believe in within those books until the books completely took his mind, and he realized in that moment his true power and his purpose in life and what it was he was supposed to do. And in that moment, he became Don Quixote de la Mancha. And he turns to the camera. He's in costume. You don't recognize Miguel de Cervantes anymore. And it flips to the saying, and on the stage, with just a chest of costumes and imagination, the actors play out Le Man of La Mancha. Extraordinary. And I went between Into the Woods, Man of La Mancha, and breaking down that fourth wall. What if? So yes, tonight I am doing Dungeons and Dragons, the Bard's Oracle. I have a script for now, and I'm walking into it. I really, really want to teach people how to be their own dungeon master. I feel like there's a war in me. My authenticity and my freedom versus reality. I don't want to call it reality. I really don't want to call it reality anymore. Because that invalidates the reality of the abstract world. So, it's my fear system, truly. And I am so sick of my fear system. I'm really fucking sick of my fear system. And I know exactly how to take care of my fear system. It's called exposure therapy. And I'm going, oh, I just need exposure therapy. Well, I know how to do that. I need a stage. What am I afraid of? It's not a matter of fear. It's a lack of confidence. It's, I need to know that I can do this. How better way to know that you can do this by getting yourself a stage. Really, truly, that's it. This is healing. It's that moment when you say, I want. Can I? I don't know. Can I? Let's find out. What do you want to do? I want. I want to write the script, perform it, free myself. I want freedom. I want ultimate freedom. I don't just want freedom here. I don't want freedom here. I want ultimate freedom. I wanted the ability to completely break open my authenticity and become who it is I know I am inside. I want it all out. And I don't know if I can do that. I think I can with practice. But why would I subject myself to auditions and Broadway rules and conformity and plays when I can just put myself on a podcast stage of my own demise and see what I can do there? Why would I not show my best material? Oh, I would. I am. I will. And I could feel it as I'm writing the script. I can feel it all coming out of my brain. I get back into my world of fantasy and I'm like, oh yeah, I am a fantasy writer. I forgot. Now that's really, truly my forte. So I started doing all of this. I started working on it, and it all started to come together. And I saw my worlds of fantasy just start to unfold again. And I went, oh, yes, I forgot. Fantasy writing is my thing. That is my first and foremost forte, is fantasy novel writing. So it all came out. It all unfolded. It was extraordinary. And I went, all right. So I'm weaving this magic, this extraordinary world, this story. It ties into this massive story I already have established. It's just expounding upon it. I get to access my psychology, my philosophy. I get to do my own psychology test on myself where I can push myself to my limit and show myself what it is I can actually do. 14 people. I have 14 people at my disposal. I am one of them. And I have the ability to completely weave a world of my own making right on spot. I have willing participants to be dropped into my world with which I can weave however I want and they will obey. The question is, can I weave them a world? World creating. When it's you in your own mind with your own perspective and your own characters, well, Berrigan does his own thing. Berrigan always fucking does his own thing. Aside from Berrigan, when you're weaving a world of your own and you do it complete, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that right now. I am not going to psychoanalyze Berrigan. When you are weaving your own world and you're putting it all together, and you've got this world just coming together before you, I need to study the psychology of imagination, and I need to study the psychology of play and theater and make-believe. And if I'm going to study this, I have to do it. And if I have to do it, I have to go out of my way to put myself on a stage of my making. But I can do that any day, and I've done it. What I need is other people, other psychologies, other perspectives, who I can just boop, 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 drop them all in place and watch them shift and move however they decide to shift and move. That's really what I want to do, is master the art of word building and unfolding whatever world I see right in front of them. I want to be so fucking good at improv that I don't have to write a script beforehand. That is my goal. That's the purpose of this particular journal entry. Is because I needed to find this goal, because this is what I'm trying to do. My goal is to put my practice so efficiently into use that when I am done, I don't have to write a script. I can just let the world unfold before me. When I first started my YouTube videos and my podcasting, I was terrified to talk to you. Remember? And then I got comfortable talking to you. And then there was a period where I couldn't see if someone was watching me. Every time I saw an audience member pop in, I would start stuttering and I would immediately shut down. So there was a time period where I had to use a paper to cover the audience members so I couldn't see if someone was watching or not. I went through that stage. I don't do it anymore. Now people can come in and watch me and I'm comfortable. I'm okay. And then they go away, they come in, they go away, and I'm going, all right, I'm getting used to this. I'm developing exposure, tolerance to people seeing this part of me. And then I went, I want to unfold. I want to completely allow my theater, because I can feel myself still suppressing from fear, take it out of me. And then I got over to Twitch, and I felt it like, my people. And I felt it start to come out, and I went, all right, it's coming out. But there's more there. It's still locked inside of me. I can still feel it. I'm still holding back. So I'm using a script as a crutch. And I'm bringing it out. And I'm using all of my resources. I have my blog novel. I have my Dungeons and Dragons. I have my podcast. I feel my anxiety building and my excitement. And I figured after a while I will be comfortable enough that I can prepare less and less, and I can just go on and present. So that when I do take the stage in real life, when I do finally saunter on that physical real stage and I look at the audience and go, oh, look, my voyeurs, I will be free to play with them, to connect with them, to draw them into my story and into my world so I can show them what it is I see so that we can connect. Because when I have a story to tell them, I really need them to listen. And in order to get to that point, I have to get really fucking good at this. Because I have a story to tell. That is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I understand me a little bit more. I feel like time is running out. I do feel like time is running out. And that scares me. Every day I wake up and I think, there's less sand in the hourglass. And I'm getting scared because time is running out. And I'm really scared now. And I can't afford fear because I have to keep going. And I'm running out of time. And I'm scared. Authenticity City has 4 pillars to it. Heal, play, learn, and create. And in the middle of my city is the state of ship. Take a look at my directory. Click on it. Have a look around. Take a look at the map. Find out if any of it resonates with you. Even if you need a respite or a place to call home where you can safely be your authentic self. The information is down below. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.